Welcome. Welcome to 1000 Week Reich. Now this mod recently got an update centered on the Middle East, so obviously we're going to be playing Russia, obviously. Right, if you want to you can read this thing right here. However, in short, basically, when the Soviet Union was on the brink of collapsing, the government split pretty much the remains of the Soviet Union split into three entities. There's the main government, who are, you know, the main government. All the sane people got sent over here to Kazakhstan, and we got the shoulder end of the stick because Kazan is pretty much run by complete lunatics and schizos. As if that wasn't bad enough, there's also an insurrection by a bunch of extremists who are like, hey, these guys in Central Asia broke free, these guys in the Far East broke free. You know, it would be a shame if we broke free as well, right? Well, we're not going to let that happen. How are we going to keep them in the Union? With complete and utter brutality is how. And in general, this is like how the world looks like. Currently the largest socialist power is India, but most of the changes aren't really relevant to us for now, so we'll get there when we'll get there. China is leaving Northern Vietnam, which I'm sure will have just wonderful consequences for the Vietnamese. The state of the Okrug. March forward. It's time to aggravate the current policies. Forgotten son. Monsters are made, not born. The world revolution is slowly but surely starting. German support. You sure you're revolutionary, guys? I don't think so. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to last much longer though. Oh, would you look at that? It seems our brothers in arms are now staging a revolution in Malaya. We can't exactly help, so just, you know, thoughts and prayers. I think this might have like been a glitch. They're not intervening. I guess they're also just sending thoughts and prayers. And there's also a bunch of conflicts here. Once again, we can't do much, but I hope someone good to us will win. Britain extends the withdrawal period. More chaos in the Middle East. And our comrades now have now successfully taken Mongolia back. We have finished our focus tree. All we now have to do is wait. And it seems there's some chaos in France as well. Which is good for us because chaos breeds revolution. Why does this guy look like some sort of analog horror monster? As if there wasn't enough wars going on already. And there's a revolution in Syria, though the, you know, wrong kind of revolution. And surprisingly, the progressives have won the United States presidential elections. Cool. So yeah, there's like war in the Middle East, but more importantly for us, there's tiny Tajikistan and tiny Kyrgyzstan. Well, not as tiny, it's just that Kyrgyzstan in general is tiny. Per moves to end Okrugs. We'll have to act quickly then. France, US, UK security treaty. You're sure this is not like a bit early given the fact the French haven't even established a government yet? Perm demands annexation. How about instead you go fuck yourselves? Marshal's triumphant will. Let me experience a moment for this office to be clean of traitors. Dark stains of the past that no future can wash away are now washed away. Okay, I guess then. Sudetti's charter. Arabia has woken up. The Italian thaw. Too little, too late. In the meantime, hey Finland, you remember that one time you stabbed us in the back? Guess what? Khan was a bitch. And also so Ukraine, you're not the right type of communist, you know? And the Finns actually accepted. Well, that's disappointing. I kind of wanted to invade them. Well, that was unexpected, certainly. Also, communism in China? Pff, what a childish fantasy, that would never happen in real life. This is very unrealistic, the most should scrap this. Stalin reunites the USSR. Comrade Vasily lead us to victory. The Stalins. History repeats itself, and the fate of the Soviet Union appears to be destiny. This is destiny. The first regime. Ah, alright. Stalin's radio address. Nothing to envy in the world. So the last country that tried to secede from our union has been laid to rest. However, that does not mean that we're done with, the campaign itself. Because there's still a few pieces that I would like to get back. German support, you sure about that, buddy? Stalin's alliance. The hardliner absolutists. Firstly, it's high time for the Poles, since they're, already Stalinists, to return to the fold. We also launched like the most fucking overqualified invasion in history. Like, look at this. Look at the amount of units we send against this tiny little state with like 3 divisions. I've also made some, minor border adjustments here. Also, for some reason I'm just fucking forced to give up copyright and everything at someone. That's a bit bullshitty, so I'm just going to, solve that problem a different way. I think I've seen this one somewhere before. There's like Western troops still standing here. Like, should we stop the Soviets from just, invading the sovereign country? Nah, I'm sure it's fine. We were backstabbed and betrayed. Yeah, you really dodged a bullet here by electing, a communist. I was gonna invade you, but now I won't. Probably. This is truly a bit amusing. You guys have now weakened yourself to the point where I can now swoop in and effortlessly crush you. The failure of the purges. Begin preparation for a final purge. What the fuck you so happy about? Oh lord, what are you doing? No winner in the US presidential election. Wallace, what have you done? Contingency. Hey, isn't that like the fucking video, Analog Horror, where Lyndon B. Johnson tells everyone to jump off a bridge? And there's also a civil war in Madagascar, that's cool. Stacking the Politburo. No objection. Please raise your hands. Wait, is that the like TNO after midnight guy? Right now they have purged everyone, it's time to restart the economy. We actually are pretty close to being the world's largest economy. The problem is that the Americans keep on, just ever so slightly overtaking us. It's time, for a 5-year plan to fix that. Alright, Germany, you're saying you want to mimic the Soviet system. What's that over here? Oh, a tourist one. Huh, that's interesting. Anyways, I'm getting a bit bored with just doing nothing with growing the economy, and I gotta take it out on the Finns. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start. Wait a second. You want to build further ties with India? I mean China? Buddy, I have news for you. I think Grandpa Nolan might have dementia. The United Arab States. A leap forward, but who benefits the most? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. We are the largest economy in the world. Merely 5 years after we were just a shitty little warlord state in the middle of Russia. I think this would be a good place to end it. You know, the game is getting a bit laggy now, and generally there's nothing to do with these. Like, sorry I gotta run for a bit. These extremely long fucking focuses. Like 91 years. Are you serious with me? So yeah, this is how the world looks like by the end of the game. Here's the ideology. It's, you know, it's pretty red, to be honest. Pretty red, all things considered. The faction map is nothing really to write about, because all there is, it's just these Arabs, the Toronto Accord, and these guys. I wasn't able to make my own faction because of the, you know, whole isolationist shit. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and tune in next time.